Hey, Bob, how you doing? I believe I repaired what the issue was on my site last night. So I told them we're going to try it one more time. If it happens again, I shall get another company. Hopefully that'll take care of everything. Okay. Triplets again. You had any questions, any problems about yesterday's lesson? What I want to work on today, and we're just going to wait for a few other guys because I'm early to come on in. We're going to work on a triplet vamp with the left hand. And I believe I showed this lesson, or I did this lesson maybe a while back. So what we're going to do, we're going to add or expand on it. There's 3 different triplet vamps I use, okay? The one is just straight ahead eighth note triplets, and that's on a snare or, with the left hand or the right hand, but in this case, it's the left hand. So what we're doing is just playing left-handed triplets on the snare drum over and over again. I'm going to play it up tempo a little bit if I can. My hand's a little numb right now. 1. Okay, that's just a left hand vamp. And what I did was we went to the stick control book and we referenced from the stick control book. We thought of the lines as swung. We eliminated all the lefts and played all the rights on the bass drum. Do you remember that lesson, Bob? Do you remember that lesson? Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to expand on it. We're going to stay with that vamp only today, okay? And we were playing our bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4, and we were playing the hi-hat 2 and 4, heel and toe. I'll do that slow. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. What are you talking about, Jim? We're doing triplets. We didn't cover sextuplets and odd groupings, not yet. We might have in the past. This microphone's coming off. Okay, it came off. Hold on. All right. I was just explaining to Bob the triplet vamp that we're going to use today. There's 3 of them. Let me give you the difference between the 3. The first one is straight ahead eighth note triplets with the left hand. I'm going to do it slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The second one, it's still eighth note triplets, but this time, however, I pop an accent on the counts of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm getting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's the second one. The third one, all right. Hey, by the way, did anybody get their books yet? Huh. Okay. The third one is the accent is on the third note of the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. How you doing, Joe? So that's 3 different triplet vamps that we're going to work with. Today we're just going to work with the triplet vamp with no accent. Now, the way I originally taught this, and it's a way to do this, but there's a couple different ways to do it. So this is the original way that I gave a lesson on. Oh, sorry about that. You should have it by tomorrow then, or maybe when your mailman comes today, you'll have it. But anyway, when I'm doing the triplet today, I'm just going to run the bass. The bass drum is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. The hi-hat's going to be 2 and 4, heel and toe. Okay. Well, the first book. All right. Let me do the lesson. I'll respond to your questions or your conversation. All right. We're going to play the bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi-hat is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so while I'm doing the triplet vamp, no accents, I'm going to do it slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And the original way, the first way I showed everybody, was we referenced from the stick control book, and we took all the rights. And we played them on the floor tom-tom against that pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and. That's the original way I showed that. All right, now I'm going to stop that for a minute, and I'm going to respond to some of these statements here. So you, Joe, let's take Joe Shield for a second. You barely went through the first book or started the first book. Well, let me tell you something about the first book, and here's why I wrote that. If you remember, I used to send 3, 4, 5 pages on a daily basis, the PDFs, to everybody. And I get a lot of requests, can you write out the Gary Shafee book, his patterns, Bading and all that, his fat back patterns. And I said, I'm going to put it all together. So I think it was 10 of them together. So I didn't have to email everybody. So you have those, and we're going to work on them. We're going to work on them slowly. Maybe we'll do number 5, maybe we'll do number 3, we'll do number 6, whatever, when the time comes. The book that's, you should have, either you have the book or the PDFs. All right, I'm not gonna send them anymore unless we're working on something and you need some additional information. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna take the lessons will be predicated upon stick control book formulas. There's 45 formulas, and like I said, when I do the formulas, there might be some additional material you need to expand upon it. Just the members will get the PDFs. I'm not sending any more PDFs to everybody. There's a lot of people on a mailing list. I also, I don't know, I'm going to take the lessons from that book. All right? I also have I'm waiting on a phone call for an appointment from, I don't know if you gentlemen know him, Rob Wallace. He's the publisher for Hudson Music. And he's sort of like, he's so visible in the drum community, all these different things that he's published drum related. I think he's an owner of the Drummers Collective in New York City. And I'm negotiating with him. I'm not going to do this book, the one that you're getting. This is something totally different. So I'm in the process of doing that. Now, let me get to Jim. Okay, just wondering, that has something to do with what we were covering. Now, is it? No, it's not an extension to the triplet, Jim. The question, the original question that you had, did we do any odd time signatures or sextuplets or whatever? Yeah, we have. And that was from Joe Morello's Table of Time. The grouping of 6, the grouping of 5, the grouping of 7. All right, we worked on them. As far as odd time signatures, we only did the 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 7, 4, 9, 4, 12, 4. we also can work with the 3/8, the 9/8, the 11/8, the 6/8, all that stuff. But it's so difficult to go all over the place in one lesson. So I want to accomplish a lesson today. Okay? So bear with me, all right? So now, you were reviewing the video from the lesson yesterday. I missed the whole drama with the Walmart. Yeah, I guess it was somebody being an asshole or trying to get to me. And they did. They really pissed me off. What happened was I posted, see, I have 3 different Facebook accounts and 3 other different, I have the 12 or 13 different drumming groups. And I posted everything about the book, the stick control formulas all over the place. And on one of the posts, because I mentioned the price of $45, that includes the shipping and handling, or the PDFs is $25, only available, it's, the hardcover is only available in the U.S., and you're better off if you live in England or Spain or Portugal to get the PDFs because the shipping is too expensive. So I posted all of this stuff. And on one of the posts, or 2 of the posts rather, the same person, as a matter of fact, does a comment. He puts the stick control book up, and he goes, I already got mine, and it's only $13. Okay. And then he posted another link to a bootleg of stick control, which was free, but it's illegal. Okay, so I really pissed him off, I guess. I said, the level of ignorance is so intolerable on Facebook, it's ridiculous. That is not what I'm selling. I'm not selling the stick control book. I'm selling the stick control formulas. It's an expansion of stick control book. So he got upset about that. And that might have been him, or there's 2 other guys that are being assholes like that. But that's okay. I thought it was cool. It's the way to get to the person, and they did get to me. Of course, there's, Joe, you're dealing with the general public. Now, you know how that is. I mean, there's all kinds of people, and most of them are, like we said, the a-holes. But anyway, that's enough said. Let me get into the lesson now. We're working with the 8th note triplet, vamp. We played the bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4, the hi-hat 2 and 4, and we maintained that pattern of 8th note triplets on the snare. Now, the way I did show it, or explained it, was we referenced from the stick control book, all right, and we swing the line, 1, does 2, does 3, does 4, and we eliminated all the lefts and we played only the rights on Mr. Floor. So that being said, the first line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and the 2 and the 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The second line, it shifts to the da. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and line 3. I'm playing them light so you can hear it. All right? I appreciate. Why don't we have a conversation other than here, Joe? And I that's really nice of you to support what I'm doing and explain it to me. I know the whole thing. I've been on Facebook for a while, and it's just intolerable, man. The level of ignorance. Okay, now today's lesson, we're going to change that. We're going to expand on it. We already established the 8th note triplet vamp on the snare drum and the hi-hat 2 and 4, heel and toe, bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to change the right hand and the right foot. Now I'm going to do it without the hi-hat. And first I'm going to do it between the floor tom-tom and the bass drum. Now, what happens with this, what becomes more confusing is you might forget what is what, which is which, or that's a better statement. So I'm going to interpret line 1, swung. 1. Okay? Now, I'm going to say, okay, rights, you're going to be the bass drum. Okay, lefts, you're going to be the right hand on the floor tom-tom. So if I take line 1, now remember the bass drum's the rights. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do you understand how I'm getting that? The rights equal the bass drum, and I mean, yeah, the rights equal the bass drum, and the left equals the right hand on the floor tom-tom. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, bottom, bottom, bottom. If I go to line 3, now remember R equals bass drum. L equals the right hand on the floor tom-tom. So you have line 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. Now, does everybody here understand? Does everybody understand where I'm getting the right hand part and the bass drum part? Because that's what's really confusing. To remember, R equals bass drum, boom. L equals right hand on the floor, tom-tom. But now, as you're playing it, you say, wait a minute. Was the right the bass drum or the floor tom-tom? So on and so forth. So it gets a little confusing. So I would highly recommend just to take one at a time and just slowly do it. And we're going to add now the vamp without the hi-hat, okay? And I'm going to do it slow. So now remember, the right equals the bass drum. The left equals the right hand on the floor tom-tom. So here we go, nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now it becomes a totally different thing, and it's you're really developing an intense coordination lesson here. Okay? Now if I take it to line 2, and here's how I recommend you do this. If you remember, I said to you a couple lessons ago, or whenever I said it, that when I teach something, I bring myself back to me as when I was beginning, and my problems I had, and what caused the problems I had to do the lesson. And my problem was, you know, I get a lesson, I want to play it better than anybody else in the world and faster than anybody else in the world. Wrong approach. Let's hit line 3. Oh no, line 1. Now I'm going to take this off of snares. It might sound a little better. You hear the 3 voices. Okay? So I'm going to play very light with that left hand. And I'm going to do it slow. 1, and there we go. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now you do that for that, just that way, with a metronome for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And you're going to feel very comfortable with it. And you're going to get stronger. And you're going to be able to control it a lot better. And eventually take it wherever you want with the speed. How you doing, Randy? Okay. Line 2 now. The same concept. Remember, R equals bass drum. L equals the right hand on the floor tom-tom. Nice and slow. Do we understand this, Jim? Bob, Joe, and Randy, you're late. Time out chair, guys. Okay, line number 2. Right equals bass drum. L equals right hand on the floor tom-tom. All right, so we're going to do line 2. Ready? Nice and slow. 1 and the play and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the, 4, and the. Abba, how you doing? First time here, I guess. Did you understand that, guys? Joe? Jim? Would somebody put my email in there so that, was it Abata? Abeta? So Abeta could email me and I'll put him on my mailing list. And if you email me, Abeta, you become, you'll get every Monday the time and location of all the lessons. There's 8 lessons a week. I have 2 locations. And if needed, you should get Samuel. All right, Big 10-4. You understand it? But you have to do it slow. Somebody put my email in there for me, mattpatella1001@gmail.com. And we'll call him Samuel. Samuel. All right, Samuel. That's good. All right. Let's do line, nice and slow, line 3. Remember, rights are here, lefts are here. All right, here we go. 1 and the play. And the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2 and the. So you get it up a little bit. Hold on. Oh. Now, these are not to be played fast if it's brand new for you. It's actually better to play them slow. You got that? And thanks, Jim. Thank you so very much, Jimmy. Was that Randy? I'm sorry. Thank you, Randy. Randy, are you going to purchase a stick control book? I mean, a stick control formula book? It's available in hardcover and in PDF formation. The hardcover is $45, mailed to your house. PDFs, there's 180 pages now. The PDFs are $25 and sent to you through your computer. They're available for purchase. If you intend to purchase that, just hit me up with the email. I mean, remember PayPal. Remember to send it as a gift, please. Okay? But now everybody understands what we did today, and we're going to stay on this for a while. Now this is in the workbook and it's written out. The 3 different vamping patterns I use with the 8th note triplet. The 8th note triplet, man, the triplets is just a beautiful thing, man. I love triplets. Okay. Now, tonight, we're going to go to my site. And I gave my provider, my streaming company, I gave them one last chance. I said, if I go onto my site and do a stream tonight from my site, and I have any issues or any problems whatsoever, it's going to be shopping time for me to get a new streaming company. Well, we were on here for a couple hours and it works. There's no going through the loop. There's no echo. There's nothing I can do. It's just on YouTube as well, on my site, about the delay. There's between a 3-second to 5-second delay. And that's on any stream that's out there. So understand that. It's not your computer, nor is it my computer. But I'm giving them one more chance. Anything happens tonight, I'm gone to another company. What do you think about that, guys? I know you'd rather be on YouTube, which is cool, and there's more traffic for me. But I can't charge anybody for a lesson on YouTube. I can, I have my site set up. Whereas, if just say hypothetically you're not a member, and you want to go to my site, I could charge a $2, $3 admission for the lesson. I might try that once or twice, see how that happens. Yeah, well, okay, that's good. Thank you for your input. Now, what I want to do tonight on the site, I don't want to expand on these triplets. I'm giving you the information right now with the triplets, and you're not going to do 72 lines, man. If you do, God bless you, man, and then that's better. That's great. But I mean, just take maybe take the first 12 and work them out, and do them slow. Do them with a metronome, and make sure everything is in tune. It's difficult to do that when I'm streaming because my drums are not tuned the way I normally tune them to play a gig. I have to have them a certain way so you could hear what they sound like. Yeah, I can, Joe, and I'm gonna do that. We'll see what happens. I'm researching a few other things. But anyway, I'm waiting on that call from Hudson Music, and I'm sure everybody, if you get like the Morello book, Master Studies 1, Master Studies 2, that's Hudson Music. He's the publisher. You get somebody like Dave Stanik's Mastering the Tables of Time, that's Hudson Music. Most of Steve Smith's books are Hudson Music. John Riley, all those guys. The guy is brilliant. I met him. I've been friends with him on Facebook, and I'm so busy I really didn't care who he was. And I met him for real in person at the Delaware Drum Show last year, and we talked somewhat. Okay, but things are starting to all come together. Like Randy, you said that everything will come together. Thank you for your support. Now, last night, well, the best way to tune your drums. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into tuning. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a stream in the next, after I do the Morello, the Memories of Joe Morello. You might have, I don't know if you know this gentleman. His name is Tim Herman. Everybody goes to Tim Herman to ask questions like you just did, Jim. And he worked with Joe Casadas. Do we all know who Joe Casadas is? No, we're not going to do like everything that's out there already. Everybody tunes their drums. And let me tell you about tuning drums. Everybody says, I tune my drums in fourths. Well, you sit at a piano and say, what note am I hitting now? Is this a third, a fourth, or a fifth? They don't know. They can't tell you. Worst. Well, we're gonna work on all that. Anyway, as far as tuning drums, Tim Herman worked at a few of the famous drum shops in New York City, and everybody, all the famous drummers, or all the drummers that were extremely visible or still visible in the drum community, all go to him and have him tune the drums. Now, it depends on what kind of music you're playing and what you want your drums to sound like and what kind of heads you use. Now, when I tune a drum, you're going to tune the lugs. You don't want to, fire them up. Okay, what you want to do is You don't need much of a turn on them to change the pitch. And it depends on the heads. I mean, if you're playing heavy metal, it's nothing wrong with playing heavy metal, but if you're playing heavy metal, you don't want to use a light skin because you're pounding. You're hitting hard. And you're going to put dents in your head. And after each song, you're going to have to retune the drum. If you're playing jazz, that's nice. It depends on the heads. So we'll get into a whole thing with that. Yeah, Joe Casadas. He lives in Pennsylvania, and he's up there in age, and he's like, doesn't have dementia or anything yet. But I've asked him to have Joe Casadas come here. Now, Joe Casadas is a beautiful human being. He really is, man. I've met him a few times, talked to him. Very informative and always very helpful. And he did a couple gigs at Carnegie Hall. This is going back, I guess, in the late 60s, maybe very early 70s, with Peter Nero, the piano player. It wasn't very jazzy, but it was commercialized jazz. But man, I want to tell you, I saw this guy play around the drum kit like no other person can. I mean, really, this man was superhuman. And he has 2 publications on the market, Rudimental Swing and what is it? I forgot the exact titles, but there's 2. He shows you how to manipulate around the drum set, cross-sticking, overlays, and whatever. All right. I forgot. Isn't that amazing? I have so many things going on in my brain. I'm lucky I remember my name. Absolutely. That's the whole preface. First off, I mean, if you're going to play a jazz gig, you don't want your drums to sound like you're playing a heavy metal gig. And actually, there is a science, there is parameters that you go around because, with the laws of science, you're tweaking the lugs to make the head sit to the drum tighter or looser, or the depth of the drum or the head of the drum. It depends on how you want them to sound. That's it. Rhythmatic patterns. I'm sorry. Thank you, Randy. And rudimental patterns. That's it. Thank you. Great books. I might try, if I could, to maybe write 1 or 2 lessons from him. You guys will get the PDFs with that. It's not in the book, the formulas. Yeah, rudimental patterns. That's it. Okay? Now, tonight we're going to be at my site, mattpatellallivelessons.com. And, I appreciate you guys in the chat. You're not asking questions. I mean, you're helping me out. That's fine. But you're not asking questions pertaining to the lesson. You get me ranting again, and I'm going to sit here for a half hour and just talk. If you guys want to have a conversation, I'll give you my phone number. Call me. Or if you want to get on Skype, we'll hang out on Skype. We could talk on Skype. But I want to try to keep it down during the lesson. I want to get into the lesson. I want to get into the drumming, if that's okay with everybody. And these pop-ups kill me. Oh, man. All right, well, Tim Herman, he was here twice. He did 2 shows with me. And one of the shows was called, Why Does My Snare Drum Sound Like Shit? That was the title of it. And believe me, man, I got a lot of people come to the site. And Tim Herman, he's a character, beautiful guy. All right, so I'm going to have to sign off. And I'm waiting for the results of my... It's not only you, Jimmy. Joe, he likes to talk. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with talking. But I want to get into the lesson. Ask me questions pertaining to the lesson. Not if I'm explaining triplets and we're talking about 9/16. You know? But anyway, that's okay. You guys are comfortable with each other, and that's a good sign. If you're comfortable, that means you're going to be learning. But give me a chance to teach instead of me bullshitting up here. Again, you want me to review what you should be working on, and only work on a few lines right now. You get it going on, and challenge yourself to do 1 through 72. Okay? Remember, the rights equal the bass drum, the lefts equal the right hand on the floor tom-tom. We're playing eighth note triplets, and the hi-hats on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to play line 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Got it? Yeah, there's now. Let me talk. No, I'm gonna. Let's do line 2. Okay, line 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. No hi-hat. 2, 3, 4. Now notice I was using a little bit of dynamics there. Well, yeah, you have to practice. No problem, Joe. All right, Bob, rather. You know, you made a statement here, and I'm going to elaborate on that, and then I'm going to close up. Okay. There's a lot of informative stuff on the web. Okay, let's talk about that. Now, everybody and their mother wants to be a drum teacher. And their way is the only way. Well, good. That's the phase that they're in. There are some really good, informative videos on YouTube and some very, very good websites on the web. And they have some good information. You go to Wikipedia, you want to know about Max Roach, Elvin Jones, Neil Peart, whoever it might be that you want to get some information on, you do. However, you have to be kind of cautious, and this is what gets me pissed off. I would say out of 100% of the videos, the instructional videos, not talking about performance videos, we're talking about instructional videos. I'd say out of 100% of the videos that are on YouTube, I would say 5% are extremely done correctly, and they're right, no problem. The other 95%, guys are where they're at, you know, and they're trying to do, I guess, and they mean well, the best they can, but some of the information is off the wall. And like I said, that pisses me off. When somebody, I don't have to agree or disagree with anyone, okay? Is what they do. But if somebody's going to set out information that is really harmful, you know, to your technique or your ability to play, I'm going to have to say something. And I don't care who you are, I'm going to say it. Like, for example, let's talk about time signatures. Now, we're talking about at a live drum clinic. Now, we all know who Dennis Chambers is. Great drummer, man. Absolutely. But there was a question asked about time signatures. Now, guys, I hope you're sitting down with this one. We all know his ability to play. Great player. Okay? And when he mentioned 2 time signatures, 9/7, 11/7. Bingo! What the hell is that? I said something. And because I said something, because I said something, everybody said I had a bad attitude. Well, you tell me. 9-7, 11-7, is that a bad attitude? I'll take this to my grave right now, okay, whenever I pass on. The musical industry is a great industry, man. But it's like all the other criminals in the world. You know, like all the politicians, and I don't want to get into that. But I feel, and I'm not the only person, that the language of drumming should be international. This way it prevents confusion and arguments, so on and so forth. I rest my case with it. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'll start getting into it, and I'm going to have a war on my hands. You know, there's so many jive-ass people out there. It's ridiculous. They're trying to make money, and they don't care how to make money or what they're selling to make money. It pisses me off. Everybody's getting an endorsement. They can't even hold the sticks correctly. Now, there's no real correct way to hold a stick. You want to hold it with your hand like this. You know, that's all right. You know, you want to hold it like that, fine. But don't teach anybody else to hold it like that. That's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going to close up, or I'm going to get in trouble. Tonight, 7 p.m. on my site, mattpatellalivelessons.com. All right? Now, like I said, if there's any issues, any problems whatsoever, I go get another streaming company. And I'm glad that everybody here agrees with that. Okay. What's that? About to. All right. Anyway, you know, the delay drives me crazy because I'm trying to get some questions. And when I do get a question, it's something I said about 5 or 6 seconds ago, and I forgot what I said because I'm talking about something else. All right. For any new guys that came to view the lesson today, the lessons, we're going to calm them down. There's not going to be too much talking. There's going to be a lot more drumming. Please, guys, help me out with that. Ask questions pertaining to the lesson. Now, the new guy, you want to get on my mailing list, please email me and I'll put you on there. You want to become a member of my site that we do at the nighttime, do it. All right, guys, have a good rest of the day. My left hand is getting better. Thank you guys for asking. Just kidding. I am a ball buster. Like you, Joe. And I have to get a little rest before my job at Walmart. Okay, guys, have a good rest of the day. We'll see everybody tonight at 7 p.m. on my site.